Okay, so ready to dive into a classic,
Always. What we got?
An Inspector Calls.
Ah, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, this, the one about the wealthy family and all their secrets, set back in 1912. And then, boom, mysterious Inspector Gould shows up at the worst possible time.
Sounds juicy. What about it?
Well, today, we're going deeper, past the
I
surface.
like it deeper.
Yeah, we've got these excerpts, little-known facts, history, and staging insights into An Inspector Calls. It's their,
Itchy.
yeah, well, by the time we're done with these, you'll see this whole play in a whole new light, I'm telling you.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm intrigued.
All right, good, good. So,
So what's the deal with this play? Refresh my memory. It's been a minute.
yeah. So An Inspector Calls, well, people usually just look at it as like a morality tale, right?
Morality, right.
About social responsibility.
Okay, makes sense. It's always a good topic, right?
Right. But there's like this whole other layer to it, like woven in. There's all this history, all this symbolism. It's Priestley's own life, even.
No kidding. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Like peeling back the layers of an onion. More to uncover all the time.
All right, let's peel back those layers then. What do we got?
Okay, so the excerpts mention Priestley's connection to World War I.
Oh, wow, WWI. That's not exactly light subject matter, is it?
No, not at all. And for him, it wasn't just something he read about. This was real life.
Right, so he was actually there in it.
Yeah, in the trenches, saw it all, the horrors, how differently the war hit people depending on their class.
Man, that's heavy stuff. You can see why he'd be fired up for social justice after going through that.
Absolutely. So he took those experiences, that passion, and wove them right into An Inspector Calls.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For example, Arthur Burling.
The wealthy industrialist guy.
Right, right. When he's going on about how war is impossible, it's like Priestley's calling him out directly. Like challenging those upper classes, their ignorance, their like everything's fine attitude when everything was about to explode.
It's like he's saying, wake up, look around you.
Exactly. It's a mirror to society.
Yeah.
Look what happens when we just ignore everyone else.
Wow, powerful stuff.
Yeah. But it wasn't just the war itself even,
Yeah.
It was the aftermath, everything changing after.
Right, the whole world was upside down.
So picture this. It's 1945, war's ending, Britain's, ready for something new. The Labor Party's coming up, talking about social reform. And Bam Priestley premieres An Inspector Calls.
Good timing. But wait, 1945. I thought the play was set in 1912.
The play is, but get this, the premiere wasn't even in London.
No. Where was it then?
Moscow.
Moscow. The Soviet Union. What was it doing there?
That's Priestley for you. Loved a good challenge, used his voice to push for change.
So the Moscow premiere, that was a statement. I get it.
Big time. And it tells you something about his own beliefs, right?
Oh, for sure. Leaning towards socialism, I'd say. Social equality and all that.
Right. So, An Inspector Calls. Not just entertainment, it's a statement.
A political statement.
Yeah.
And we've unmasked Priestley's motivation.
Right. So how about we unmask one of the play's biggest mysteries while we're at it?
Hit me with it.
Who is Inspector Gould?
Oh, yeah. He's a tricky one. Pops out of nowhere, knows everybody's secrets, then poof, gone.
Exactly. Is he even real? A ghost. What's the deal?
$1 million question. Priestley loved ambiguity. So many interpretations.
Okay, so what are the options?
Well, some say he's divine judgment,
Like an angel?
Kind of, yeah. Or like all the characters' guilt, but in human form, holding them accountable for their actions.
Oh, that's kind of creepy.
Right. But our source material, it throws in another theory. Time traveler.
Whoa, hold on. Time traveler? Now that's just wild.
Right. But hear me out. Priestley was obsessed with time, wrote another play even, Time in the Conways, all about how everything's connected, how our choices have these consequences.
So Inspector Gould, as this time-traveling judge.
Exactly. He's not just judging the past, he's warning them about the future, too.
Now that is a twist. Okay, I'm seeing it now. It explains how he knows all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff he couldn't possibly know otherwise.
Exactly. It's like he's saying, this is where your choices lead, people. Not just for you, but for everyone. It's a trip, right? And what's even wilder is, even with those warnings, it's not like the play gives you the answers on a silver platter.
True. It's not like one of those stories where everyone learns a lesson and lives happily ever after. So what's Priestley doing then? Just messing with us.
No, he's a dramatist, not a sadist. Think about it. An Inspector Calls, it leaves you wondering, did any of it sink in for this family? Will they actually change? Or are they going to make the same mistakes again? See, that's what makes it stick with you.
It's making me think about how we stage this whole thing. Imagine being the director. How do you even begin to put this on stage, particularly Inspector Gould himself?
Oh, man. Talk about a challenge. It's all in the delivery, right?
Right. Our source material, it mentions this director's dilemma, how to bring Inspector Gould to life.
And it makes sense. You've got to find the right presence, the right tone for the guy. Take that last speech, for example.
Where he lays it all out there.
Exactly. If the actor's too dramatic, too in your face, it just becomes a lecture. But too subtle, too quiet, it loses all its power.
It's a tightrope walk, finding that balance.
Yeah.
So how have directors handled this in the past?
It runs the gamut, honestly. Some go big, booming voice, almost like a prophet of doom. Others, they go for the quieter approach. Let the words just hang in the air, really get under your skin.
Subtle but effective.
Exactly. And you can't forget the exit. Even something as simple as how the inspector walks off stage can completely change the mood.
Oh, I bet. Does he just vanish? It's like, poof, adds to the whole mysterious vibe. Or does he give them a look? Disappointed. Each choice creates a whole different experience for the audience.
Exactly. And speaking of choices, let's talk about that Titanic reference. You mentioned it earlier, something about Arthur Burling mentioning it.
It always seems so random to me. Like, why mention the Titanic? What's the point?
But remember, deep dive.
Right.
We're looking for the why. And with good writing, there are no accidents, my friend. That Titanic bit, that's Priestley showing off.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the big deal with Burling bragging about the Titanic being unsinkable? It's just a detail, right?
It's all about the layers. First, you've got the irony. Here's Burling, so sure of this ship, calling it unsinkable, right when his whole world, his family, it's all about to go under, all thanks to the inspector.
The ultimate foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But there's more, right? You said layers.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started. See, the Titanic, it's not just a ship in this play. It's a symbol. Burling and his blind faith in this unsinkable thing. That's the whole upper class in 1912. They thought they were untouchable, that tragedy only happened to other people.
Which is exactly what Inspector Gould wants to shatter. He shows them that their actions have consequences, that their perfect lives are built on a foundation of, well, everything that's wrong with the world.
And that's why an inspector calls, even though it's over a century old, still hits home today. We're still dealing with the same stuff. Social responsibility, the gap between the rich and the poor, the consequences of our actions. It's all there.
It's timeless, really. Priestley saying we're all connected. What I do affects you. What you do affects me. But I'm curious, with all this complexity, how do you think people today would react to that ending?
Yeah, I mean, would they actually listen to the message? Or would they just brush it off? That's the thing. When Priestley wrote this, things were changing. People wanted a fairer world, But now it's like, who knows if it would land the same way?
So it's like he threw this rock into a pond and the ripples keep going.
Exactly.
And we're still dealing with those ripples today. But how we react to them, well, that's a whole other story.
See, that's what makes art great. It sticks with you, makes you think, makes you talk about it. And Inspector Calls, it really makes you look at your own life, your place as everything.
It's made me think about how what I do affects others. Sometimes you don't even realize it,
And that's huge, right? Because it's not just about society as a whole. It's about each of us looking in the mirror.
It really is. Wow. What a deep dive. I feel like I actually get this play now. Priestley was brilliant, not just a writer, but like a commentator on the times,
Absolutely. And sometimes it's those familiar stories, the ones we think we know, that have the most to teach us.
So to everyone listening, next time you come across an Inspector Calls, remember this conversation, the history, the symbolism, that mysterious inspector. But most importantly, think about it. What would you do if you were in their shoes? What kind of world do you want to be a part of?
Because those aren't just questions for a play, right? Those are for us right here, right now.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up our deep dive on an Inspector Calls. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and keep diving deep.